and welcome to this fantastic session. It's about the universe within. Today, we have a very special guest with us, and that is a very renowned Bollywood actor, director, and a self proclaimed introvert, Mr. Samir Soni. Today's session is actually going to be a very insightful journey into the minds of the person who doesn't go out so much but has so much to share, and there is so much which is uh, right within them that we can learn from. A lot of insightful discussions, a lot of musings, and a lot of things to learn and look forward to.
But yeah, I like the feel. I like that warmth that you have a local pub and a local bar, and that's a nice thing. I feel.
Yes, it takes a little while to get adjusted to, but the good part being that I was not a person who was always like, outside, outgoing and this. So I was always comfortable in my world with my painting, my
Mm.
writing and my stuff. So I
Yeah,
was,
lovely paintings. Yeah, I mean,
thank
I watched your Insta account and pretty impressive. It was like, wow,
you.
lovely.
So no, that is actually more of my professional. I'll actually add you to my personal Insta account also. So you'll see my paintings and my family pics and everything. So you will see
Oh,
more
good.
of
I'll
the
do
things
that.
I
I
do.
look forward to that.
Sure,
All
sir.
right, let's
So
go for it now. Let's
yes,
see.
so
Let's
we'll
have
get
some fun.
going. Yes, we'll get going with the conversation that we decided to go on with, and that is the universe within, because it's so interesting and intriguing to talk to you because you come like a powerhouse or like a, like a it's like something where there's so much inside you that we can hear, we can listen to, and we can learn from, but you don't really expose it out there. So that's the most interesting part, and I have to start with the facts that your quotes are amazingly good. And for the audience or for our viewers who would like to know, this is the only celebrity interview that is probably going non not planned. It's like we haven't shared any questions, answers, no plans. It's very spontaneous, and that speaks extremely well about the person, not just as a professional but also the person, the powerhouse he is, that he is willing to go completely spontaneous. So that speaks a lot. So we'll begin with your quotes, amazing quotes out there,
Okay. Hmm.
true deep learnings. Where do you get that from?
Look, not all of my quotes are my own because I actually, will give references to where I heard this, where I read this. The rest are mine. It's like a mental dialogue that goes in. And my Instagram thing is more way of expressing myself. It is, and I am, if people don't know already, I am an introvert. So I don't express that much. And every once in a while, I think of something which I say, that's kind of interesting. It might not be right, but it is an interesting thought, right? Uh, yeah, so it's just the way I am, I guess. It's just when you spend a lot of time on your own,
Yes.
that tends to happen, that you are thinking about things, and even if you're not intentionally, they like kind of you might listen to something and it just might cross your mind saying, okay, what about this? So yeah, just spending too much time on my own, I think.
Right. So you do have quotes which are your own, your poems. I mean, those are
Yeah.
yours. I mean, they
Mm.
are deep and they are like it's around being more responsible towards the planet. There were poems that reflected on that. There were poems that reflected on how one can, be a better version of themselves. It's not like competing with others, but be a better version of themselves. So those poems are so deep. So when do you get the time given your profession,
See,
your
I
schedule, or was
I
it a
have a,
lockdown?
I have a passion or obsession or interest, whatever you want to call it, about certain topics which fascinate me. Uh, One, of course, is what is success? What does success mean? What does being successful mean? What is happiness? What does being happy mean? Um, what does it mean to be good?
Hmm.
These are very abstract concepts which we assume that we know the meaning. People kind of use it very loosely, but if you kind of probe deeper, you can say, okay, is this okay or this is okay? So you kind of have that little debate, and that just interests me. I think the thoughts that not many people talk about. I mean, it just I don't know. I get a kick out of it. I think when a thought like even a play of words is interesting.
Yes.
If you go into that realm, because the depth is so much. I and my friend we used to sit and discuss. What does God quote unquote exist, and what is he or it, or what is the relevance of it? Is it really important? And religion, for that matter, what role does it play? I mean, is it good? Is it bad?
Mm-hmm.
And even introversion and extroversion. I mean, is that good or bad? Or what does it mean? So there are a lot of these questions that you can keep digging and digging and digging, and until you come to some kind of a satisfactory answer, and you kind of feel good and say, okay, it's like a puzzle that you're trying to solve, and you can never really solve it, but come closer than you were maybe before you started. Yeah. So it's just something I enjoy. It tickles my brain, I guess.
Yes. So interesting, word that you use. And the other day you also mentioned that success. That's a funny thing. So what does success mean to you here? Like, how do you see it?
Look, for the longest time, I dreamt of success. That's all I ever thought of, being successful, and successful, I guess, at that time growing up, meant, being famous, being popular, and having all the comforts and being somebody. That was always important, that you should be somebody, right? And so I've over the years had a chance to kind of, think about it and say, what does that really mean? I mean, what do you mean somebody? And where is that coming from? Is this an abstract?
Yeah.
Correct. And why am I defining it the way it is? Mm-hmm. Why does success mean in this generic way, being popular, being successful, or being rich and famous and blah, 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 or best in your field? Who says that is success? Number one. B, even if that is success, hypothetically, why do you seek it?
Yeah.
That's totally a different reason. What is your yearning towards that to be somebody? Which means inherently means that somewhere deep down, you don't feel that you're somebody, that you need to achieve something to feel somebody, right? So that introspection leads you to a further step within yourself, and you have to ask yourself questions and think, okay, why does this make me feel good? Right. Why can't I feel good by myself? I mean,
Right.
So success is a very fascinating thought. And now I don't talk about it because it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, it's something that people got together and decided to call it. Probably a bunch of extroverts got together and decided.
Yes, that was my next question. So who are these people? Are these the people who are just a certain mindset, who have a certain mindset, and success might mean that to them, and great for that. I mean, it's their kind of success, but is it what defines you? Because every individual is unique, and every personality, the way they evolve is different, and what we seek is different. So maybe my idea of success may be very different from somebody right across the street. So they are different, and just because we are all in a very similar kind of we are in this world, but certain times we are in certain professions which look similar from the outside. We think we are all the same, but which is clearly not the case. So everyone is a deep rooted person in their own self. So some show on the outside more, while for the others they are more rooted inside, and success will certainly not mean the same to of these.
I think the cliche, the stereotypical meaning of success is something that's been hyped in terms of as a marketing tool. It's which is understandable. I mean, if you go back 100, 200 years back, the guy who had it all was the king, right? So you always said, oh, I want to be the king because he has it all, and assume that he was an extremely happy person, which is not necessarily
Assumed,
true.
yes,
Correct.
yes,
So you what you don't have, you kind of think that is it, right? Because no one is out there projecting their real uh, sense of being. What
yes,
does it really mean to be you, right?
yes.
So you kind of assume, like, even in Instagram, everybody's got this smiley faces and da da da. That's not real. I mean, I do it, and it's sometimes like, yeah, fine. I'm guilty of it also, but that's dangerous. I feel sometimes
Mhm.
it is because you're sending out, you're projecting a certain image, you're projecting a certain thought, an idea, which people might compare themselves to and aspire to be.
And thinking that that is how it is at all points of time, which is
Yeah,
risky.
and it's like I said, this is it's a jigsaw puzzle you can go on. That's why I don't like getting into success, because yeah, I mean, how do you know what the reality is and how that person is feeling? But then if I was to put on my Instagram a grumpy face or me feeling low, no one really cares a damn about it.
People might take
If
that moment
I'm
as a reality for always. Yeah.
Yeah, so people, we also, because we do live in this a certain kind of a world where people, everything is at your fingertips, and just have a nice laugh and move on. No one has the time to sit and brood and think and what. So there are handful of people like you who bother to kind of think about it or talk about it. So
I
yeah, so
am talking this about this because there is like we just said that success is how certain people define it, and for me, I think I see success as where we achieve something and we are happy about it, whether people know about it or not, whether we are growing rich or not. So that is different, and I'll tell you why. Because supposedly, in a different profession, say let's say in the military, for example, so they probably undertake a very covert mission or something, and nobody knows about it, nobody is informed about it. They secretly do something, risking their lives, come out successful. They call it success. Are they earning huge amount of money from that? No. Do many people get to know about it? No. Is it like it's all over the media for people to know? A lot of things happen secretly, but still, that is success. So then, is success something that everybody has to validate, or is that something that we know we did and it makes sense? So there's value in it. So that's what something
but obviously, I mean, I think the answer is pretty straightforward. I mean, in the end, the success should mean something to you. If you're looking for validation and you somehow define that as success, then you're in trouble.
right.
That is anything to do with people around you.
Right.
Although people say that no man is an island by himself, but that's a tricky thing. I mean, I never bought into that, because if your happiness lies in the hands of people outside,
Yes.
then you'll have a miserable life, because they're going to change their mind very fast. They will change their mind.
Right.
So yeah, so I think you said an interesting thing, that it is about you set out to achieve something and you achieve it. I want to go a step further. Is that you need to have clearly the reason why you want to achieve it.
Yes.
Because we are just seeing the upside of it, right? Now, a question I'll ask you is that if I told you there's a guy who's, wanted to be a millionaire by the age of 40, right? And he turns 40 and he became a millionaire. So is he successful?
Depends exactly. My question is.
No, but according to your theory or hypothesis, that he set out to achieve something,
yes,
and he achieved it. So in that definition, that would be success.
Yeah, so maybe that is successful, but is it happy? Because there has to be feeling of contentment, because
see, now comes the other variable. Because if I told you that for him to achieve that, the price he paid was losing his family, losing this, then you don't know if that is success.
Yes, that's where my thought was, like, is he content? Because that contentment is one of the biggest factors which we overlook. It's like something that people don't always talk about, but that is essential. I mean, a person can be truly famous, people always clicking pictures of them, they have
that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, they are successful, but are they really having a happy, contented life? I mean,
that's why I like to focus more on happiness as opposed to success, because success is a very abstract thing. Happiness, you know if you're happy or unhappy.
Yes.
Successful, sometimes you might feel extremely successful, sometimes you might not feel like that. Because also the thing is that if you set out to achieve something and you assume that if you were to achieve that, you will feel a certain way. What if you reach there and you don't feel that way?
That's right. So,
To me, that is the biggest thing which people miss out, is that if you have a dream or you aspire to climb Mount Everest, there's a
yes,
reason, because somehow inside also you're feeling, once I reach that thing, I'll feel a certain way.
right.
But what you walked all that 27,000 feet or whatever, and you reach the top and you say, man, this sucks.
Hmm.
Then you have reached Mount Everest, you have climbed Mount Everest. So that's why people say it's the journey that's important. So if you
Yes.
enjoyed the journey, hey, at least you had a good time, right? Maybe you didn't like the view as much, but at least you had a good time climbing. But if you are
Right.
thinking that when I reach the top and I'll have a nice view, then you suffered a long time for something which you may or may not find satisfying. So
Right.
that's
So,
another difference. Go
yeah.
on, sorry.
No, that's fine. This is where I was actually trying to arrive with the discussion about success, being that a lot of times, like introverts, people who are not so outgoing, but they tend to misjudge themselves because they think they try to perceive themselves through the eyes of others, and that's where they often misjudge their qualities. And there are not many people who would take the moment to see the real qualities of a person who is not so outgoing, and it is there in every profession, in every industry. Some word of advice to such people who are a little introvert, but sometimes they think that my success means what others said for me. So a little.
Look, I mean, it's taken me a long time to come to terms with my introversion. I mean, it's only now I'm kind of saying it. I mean, for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with me. I was weird or unusual, because no matter where I went, I didn't feel that I belonged there. It just felt like, yeah, I don't belong here. So
Mhm.
but that's taking, and I used to make conscious effort and think, yes, what's wrong with me? Da 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 da. And people who are extrovert, because they cannot understand the issue, they will also say, what's wrong with you, right? So it's taken me a long time to say, well, and accept that, look, this is who I am. I'm sorry. To me, this is where I feel good. This is where I mean, the classic difference between an introvert and an extrovert is that an introvert, when he's socially with people, would feel drained. Their sense of strength comes from spending time on their own. They need that. Extroverts will thrive on that, right? And we live in an extroverted world. That's the biggest problem. We live in an extroverted world, and therefore the introvert has to go out, which
Mhm.
takes effort. An extrovert thrives on that. So, I mean, to all people who are introverted, all I can say is that, yeah, you're different. It's okay. I mean, the big difference is that you need to spend more time on your own than be with people. So first, you don't judge yourself, there's something wrong with you. No, that's who you are. And
Exactly.
you have to work with that.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
have to try to go out and try to change, because you can't. I don't think your true nature is ever going to change.
Yeah, and should
You
not,
will be.
because they are comfortable that way. They are the best that way. So yes.
So yeah, so accepting that this is the way I am, it's okay to be the way I am. And heck, let's take a step further. I'm proud of being the way I am.
Exactly.
I wear my introversion on my sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go, yeah, man, that's me, man. For the longest time, I would hide, and now like, tough luck, man. This is who I am. So it's fun then.
Yeah, but something really intrigues me is that you are in a profession where people are really different. I mean, they feel that the more you project yourself, the more you advertise yourself. And now in these era of the social media where people have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everything. So people are out there, and they want to be seen, known, and to be a strong introvert in that world. I mean, how difficult was it, or did you just give it a damn, like, I don't care? So
No,
how?
it's a battle on a daily basis. It's not easy. I mean, because in the end, you have to be out there. I mean, that's part of your job. You can't be hiding. If there's a screening or something, I mean, you can avoid certain social things and say, okay, look, I don't want to go. but something which is professional. You have no choice, but you have to go. So you got to bite the bullet, At least the best you can do is not judge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Say, okay. So you can take less pressure on yourself.
Right.
And as far as the work is concerned, I think also your talent speaks.
Yes. Totally.
Right. And I'm beginning to feel, I'm going to explore this. I'm not sure if it's true. I feel that most introverts, because of their introversion, are also more sensitive, and therefore more creative.
Exactly. I agree. Yes.
So if you were to compare that with an
are very creative. True.
So let's if let's go along with that for the sake of argument, is in that case, I feel maybe introverts by and large are more talented than most extroverts. Maybe. I'm not saying that's true.
I truly support that because
I'm not. I don't want to make a sweeping judgment here, but there is a possibility.
I completely agree because I feel like there were the times where I'm sure now the world will agree a lot because 2020 was a time when everybody, the entire world, went into lockdown. So you were in your own spaces and there was no way you could go out. So many people got creative. I mean, people started getting creative in different ways. So I'm sure they discovered that different side of them, which introverts like us have already explored, and we already knew that. So
it was okay for us. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed the lockdown. So that's something that.
So in that sense, if you were to consider that, then then the thing is, therefore introverts are more talented by and large, again sweeping generalization, but sake of argument, then extroverts have limited inherent talent, but they have better social skills.
Absolutely, they do.
Because they thrive on that.
True.
But as long as you clearly understand that and let not the social skills be the be all and end all.
Right. And so, I think extroverts, probably we say that we don't see too many side of their different side of talents because they don't get to spend time with themselves to explore that. Probably they would also realize when they get to spend that time with.
I don't think they have the ability to go as deep, and that's just the way you're wired. I was reading it somewhere that introverts and extroverts, if you take the extremities, are wired differently mentally. Like even apparently the neural path that it takes for thought, it takes longer and deeper in an introvert and shorter and faster in an extrovert. So that is also probably the genetically you're predisposed. I mean, you're an introvert and I'm an introvert not because we became introvert. We probably had the tendency anyway. Right. So you are wired a certain way to be the way you are. It's just that your behavior is genetic, right? And some people, because of the environment around you, can maybe perhaps change a little bit, and some will just go deeper. But that is what you're wired for, right. And it's no point fighting, and that's no point fighting it. I think so.
That's okay. So here's one question I like to understand. You've been in the industry for a very long time. You've seen the changes, you've seen the transitions of a lot of these things, and you've played amazingly different variety of roles. Which were the ones that you enjoyed truly because they were a lot about what you are in real? So what were the roles that you also learned from instead of just contributing into the character?
I can't say I've learned from any role. I mean, that'll be a lie. But like I said, to me, acting is a therapy. I mean, it's catharsis for me. So any role that gives me the opportunity to dig deeper emotionally is great for me. And it's easy for me. Right. And to the person who's watching, it seems wow. To me, I'm just expressing myself. So I enjoy that because it's nice. It feels good. Because as an introvert, you will tend to keep your feelings and emotions kind of close to your heart. You won't kind of spill it out. So now you get an opportunity to actually spill it out, and people will appreciate. So any role that has a lot of layers, I look for those layers, and that excites me. The most difficult thing for me to do is do an ad, because I have to be, hey, hi, you just got to smile. Ask me to say 2 lines smilingly. People say, sir, can you send us a shout out or something, and I'm sweating. I'm like, oh God, how do I tell this guy? I can't do it, man. I can't just say, hey, watch this and it's coming to you. It's the most difficult thing for me.
Yes.
But what I'm doing right now is very easy for me. That's why I said, don't tell me questions. Yeah, because
it's a conversation. It's normal. It's not. Yeah, it's not choreographed.
I don't know how to be without baggage. And that has gone against me because earlier, most of the heroes were expected to be this, hey, dashing and quote whatever, happy and this and that and smiling, good-looking faces. And that's a zone I was never comfortable in. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a zone I was like, I could pull it off. I had to work hard for it. But it wasn't, because I had to numb my brain and dumb my feelings and be this plastic, hey, But luckily now times have changed. The roles that are coming up now, or the shows that are coming up now, have more layered stuff. So there is a room and a place. And luckily now I'm older, so I'm getting stuff which has more depth. Otherwise I was stuck playing this nice guy next door and I hated it. I mean, it's fun to do that part also.
So kind of a character person or in real. So why not play that? It's not.
No, but if it's superficially written, then it gets little. But if you like one character which became extremely popular for me was the Jassi Koine character of Purab I played. It's just, there was something in it that I saw. There was an opportunity. I was creating in my own way the perfect character, perfect man.
Right.
So to me, what is the idea of perfection, of a perfect man? Mm-hmm. He's magnanimous. He's big-hearted. He's compassionate. He's has all the Indian value systems in his right place. He's centered, right? So I had all these things to play with. So if I was given a situation, even his reactions were like, okay. I was playing the perfect man. It wasn't written like that. But that is the take I took. That's when they narrated the character and I said, this is a good opportunity to explore that part.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy?
That was fun.
Most? Like, do you enjoy the movies, which is like 2.5 hours and you play everything in there, or teleseries where, it goes on and you can explore? I'm thinking.
You're thinking?
I'm thinking the latter. I'm thinking that you might be enjoying teleseries more, a little more, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, a lot more. Also, the thing is that people don't know that films are shot in a different way. Yeah. Because in the end, you're just seeing 2 hours, right? So typically, what do I enjoy? I enjoy performing in front of a camera. I enjoy playing a character, right? But typically in a film, the amount of time you spend in front of the camera is very limited in a day. In TV series, you don't have time. Time is a luxury. So you're on the go the entire day. Okay. So you don't have time to think. You're always doing something and performing, which is very satisfying, right? So it's not the end result I'm concerned about. It is the process. What do I enjoy? So on one hand, you have a choice. Like I was thinking, I was having this conversation with Mr. Sanjay Leela Bansali. And I asked him, I said, I think Bajirao Mastani, I asked him, I said, sir, how long did it take to make that film? He shot for 270 days. So if you shoot for 270 days, that means in one day, you're doing about 45 seconds of work.
Oh my.
Right? If you do the average 210, if it's a 3-hour film, that's 180 minutes, blah, 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 blah. So I did a calculation. So which means if a normal shift is for 10 hours or 12 hours, it's actually in our industry, it's 12 hours. I'm going to wait for 10 hours to be 2 hours in front of the camera. Those 10 hours kill me because I can't get out of character. And if I chit-chat too much, being an introvert, I drain myself. Right. So I have to stay shut in my vanity van or makeup room, listen to music and because I'm balancing myself out. Don't get too much out of character. Well, okay, now you need to ease yourself a little bit. Okay, don't talk too much because you're going to waste energy. You're going to conserve energy. It's tedious. So when you're working non-stop, you don't have time for that.
Yeah, it's so challenging. I mean, I recall there were times when I used to do these, I used to be a public speaker and train in, companies. So just about an hour or half an hour before my session, I used to have those things because I used to get into the topic and Imagine in your place, you are like playing an entire, in an entire character in a movie. And how challenging is that when you're playing a character which is different from you? So being in that. So do you bring it back home? Do you stay in that for some
It
time?
stays.
Say goodbye?
It lingers on.
Okay.
It lingers on. It's not like doesn't overtake your life. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm still Samir. It's not like I'm that character. But if you've been doing that, it just non-stop consistently, then you find yourself on the days you're not shooting just kind of little bluesy and little down, and you don't know why, and you're like, what happened? And also you expend a lot of emotional energy whatever you do.
Yeah.
So even though it's satisfying, it's like I was shooting for one web series I'm doing, and there's supposed to be this big breakdown scene in which my character is supposed to break down and start crying.
Okay.
It's not difficult. Um, so I've been preparing for, like, ever since I found out that scene. In the back of my mind, that thought was there. Okay, this is gonna come. This is gonna come. This is gonna come. And when we're gonna shoot for it, then I just block the whole everything off. I don't talk to anyone. Nobody comes close to me because I gotta be in that zone. And so it needs a little bit of practice and discipline, and to know that's a total different ball game, because that's got to be, as an actor, what is the process? That's different. But I guess being an introvert, it kind of helps you,
Hmm. Yeah. Because I think
because
you the
I'm
depth
used to
of the
blocking things
character.
off.
Yes, that's why
Yeah.
you
So
go into the depths of the character to understand even what is not shown on screen, just to understand the
see,
character.
more than depth of the character, which is what people normally say, it's more about capturing the truth.
Hmm. Yep.
At that point in time, are you feeling what the character should feel? If you're faking it, the camera's going to catch it. And that's what separates a good from not so good actor, who can capture that moment of truth.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like, and the layers. Now, if you're an extrovert, it's a challenge for you, right?
Right.
Because you probably haven't spent so much time with pain and anxiety and passion. And anxiety is a big thing for us, of course, you know, for most introverts. But being an introvert, you have experienced that. You know what it feels like.
Right. Right.
I
So
mean, so you
a
just
lot
have
of
to go to that zone.
empathy in there too with your characters. A lot of empathy. But has it ever been so? And I'm sorry to ask if it gets a little personal, but has it ever been like, there was certain real life experiences that has played a role and that has made an impact on you emotionally, and you could bring that maturity in your work because you know how it feels, and now I know how I can deal with the situations in life, whether in your profession or in your social situation, but something that has impacted you.
Well, I mean, if you're a sensitive person, everything's going to impact you. I
Hmm.
mean, if it's people screaming and shouting outside, it's going to affect you. You
Right.
can't run away. You're like, I mean, if I go out socially to a party or something, I come back and I have to take a shower just to get rid of everything, because I'm like, oh
You feel
god,
that way too, like you are draining it all out, you're washing it all off.
yeah, yeah. And this might be the nicest party with the dearest of friends, and no reflection on them, but just to kind of come back to my own centered, safe place, I have to
Yes.
kind of, okay. So being an introvert, you have no choice.
Yes.
It's all around you. I mean, where are you going to run? So yeah, so I mean, that's part of thing. That's part of what it means to be sensitive. I mean, you can feel somebody else's pain.
Right.
So all along life, I mean, you have so many ups and downs. I have gazillions ups and downs, and there's always this thing of maintaining a balance somehow. So yeah, there are a lot of things that have happened that make you who you are and what you are.
That's true.
That's
I
like,
think I think that sure has worked on me because I went through some painful situation. I was 22 when my mom died. It was back in 2005, and she got diagnosed of cancer in April, and May she died before we could even take in like what's wrong, and before we could even sink it within ourselves, she was just gone. And I was just 22 preparing for my masters, and I was planning to go off to UK, and I left all of that just to be with my father. And it impacted me so much. I even contemplated suicide 5 months later. I gulped down a bunch of pills. I don't even know what they were, but I punched them down my throat. And I think after midnight, when I was feeling like my throat was burning and I was feeling that pain, and I was thinking like, is it that pain of death or something? And then some light dawned upon me, and I realized that my parents have given me birth as a very normal person, like physically, mentally, everything normal, given me a proper upbringing and all. And if I am trying to put an end to my life because of what others are saying, because I was an introvert, I would get impacted by what others say. So people were always judging and all. I'm probably doing a very bad thing for my parents. So that impacted me. And when I drank, I think two bottles of water throughout. And when I was throwing up, I said to myself that I'm actually throwing out of me the negativity of any kind. So come what may in life, no matter how tough life gets, I'm tougher. And I think that mindset, it helped me evolve into a stronger person. And I look back, I of course miss my mother, but I think she has in certain ways played a very strong role in my life even after her death. So it impacts us, and I see some things which stays along with us. So it impacts our work, and it's always
Can I
conflict.
ask? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Uh, I lost my father 4 years back. What made you the effect that losing your mother? How did that translate into your thought process?
uh, See,
Because
I
there could be a lot of yeah.
know a
Go
lot of
on.
things. I think what translated was there were two phases of thought process. One was I cannot live without her, and my life has changed completely. I was just 22
Right.
back in 2005. I was just too young, and it was too naive, and it's a very innocent age.
So your anchor was taken away. So you said, "Oh, I can't walk
Absolutely.
without that."
Yes, and my ecosystem changed, and then it was like I don't know how to do with my life right now. My mom was my best friend.
Uh,
I had friends, but I didn't connect to my friends so much because I always had my mom to connect with. So if I have a crush on someone, I would go and tell it to her. It was always like she was
how
always
sweet.
part of me. So
Hmm.
that person taken away from me was so difficult. It was, and when I say difficult, difficult is not going to define the feeling enough. It was terrible. But then there were certain qualities about her that she would always work for everyone else, not like work in like what all mothers do, but she was always doing something which benefits people in certain ways. So working for physically and mentally challenged people, helping in animal rescue and getting people, back in the 80s when people didn't, and in small towns in India where, so I was from Calcutta, a metropolitan city, but in small towns where people probably lost their limbs or something, she would go searching for those people and finding them to give them prosthetic limbs, so working for creating a positive impact in people's lives. 2004, if you remember, we had the tsunami, and
Right.
it came in December. 2005, she was in Pondicherry helping tsunami victims and all.
Oh
And she
wow.
still had cancer. We didn't know because she died that same year in May, but she was working for the tsunami victims rescue in February. So she literally went out of her way to do things for others. Now, I realized later that if I want to really keep my mom alive, I can keep her alive in me. And I should do things that I appreciated in her. And I started walking that path because we will have a very limited lifespan, that's for sure. Like, we are
Yeah.
spiritual beings, we are just, we're not human beings going through a spiritual phase. We are spiritual beings going through a human existence. So
Correct.
the journey of the soul continues. So all I need to do to keep her alive is just to bring that qualities out in my life with my contribution in the world. I started doing that. And truly, honestly, I started feeling happy. So I may not have earned a lot of money. I may not have been seen across different places. I don't need to be seen, but I'm content. And that is what I define as my success. That I'm happy. I sleep happy. So probably that has helped in some ways.
Fab. I mean, I envy you for such a young age. You know what your meaning or purpose of life is. mean, I still don't know what for me. I mean, for me, acting has always been the be all and end all.
But
And
you can
now
inspire that way too, right? You're inspiring people with your work.
it well, yeah, but I don't see that as a purpose. As in, I mean, I still haven't reached that level that I feel that I can help anyone. I mean, my opinion about myself is not that high that I can help people.
Mm-hmm.
It's because that comes from a position of I have something and you don't. I feel that I don't have anything exceptional. You have the same thing. At least I don't feel it. I don't think like that. I don't feel it. Maybe not true. So I still don't know. I mean, I know there's going to be a shift of path. I mean, I've directed a film.
Mm-hmm.
I've written the film. I loved it. But am I a director? No, I can direct. Am I an actor? I don't know. I can act, I know, but am I an actor? I don't know. I mean, I've learned it in terms of, because doing something and being something is two different things. The fact you can write doesn't mean you're a writer.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
You can do it, but that doesn't qualify you as a writer. So for me, acting has always been this emotional expression of my existence. Right. And because doing it for so long, you do it well. But is that my purpose of life? I don't know. I mean, I'm still seeking. I mean, so I'm very envious of you.
Realize your purpose of life, because certain times, like I have struggled with this too, where certain times I want to do something and I feel that is my purpose of life. But certain times we choose the way, and sometimes a path chooses us. And we just
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. I might be on a threshold or something, I think. But I don't know. It's too early to say. But maybe, I don't know. It's I allow things to happen. I'm sorry.
Would you like to share what that is, or it's still something you want to keep within yourself for now?
No. It's just not. I mean, I'm working on a book. I'm writing. Okay, and like I'm talking to you about introversion, and so I'm seeing, there seems to be some space where I can contribute in some way, which can also be satisfying. But to say that is the way, it's too early for me to say that, because I mean, I let things dictate. I mean, I never planned anything in my life that this is what I want to do or something, except for acting, yeah. But hopefully it will reveal itself. I mean, you have to keep your eyes and ears open.
Right.
And you never know when it's going to come. I mean, I'm talking to you right now. You never know what's going to come. So that's how I see it.
So you said you were envious of me because I found the purpose of my life. I don't know if I found the purpose, but I can only say the only purpose I live by is that to be a good professional, one just needs to be a better human being. So I just try to bring that in my work. So that's simple.
See, being a better human being, that always is the process. I mean, that goes on parallel to whatever you do. I mean, to me, it's always about being a good actor and being a good person, which means being a good father, good son, good husband, good whatever, right? That's a journey that's going to go on regardless. Okay.
Yes.
And, but I'm still looking forward, because the way I defined what I want to do in life, this is when I switched over from being an investment banker to being an actor, was, I used to work on the Wall Street.
That's a switch. That's a big switch.
Yeah, so I was in New York, so I was working on the Wall Street, and I had my that moment saying I'm miserable, and why. My question why is very important. So I said, look, if I'm got this big shot job and I'm making so much of money and everybody envies me, but I'm miserable, and there's a problem here.
Yes.
So I came up with a definition that I want to do something which, even if I wasn't paid to do, I would do it. That was my definition of what I want to do. And acting was my first answer. And I said, okay, look, I never forgive myself if I don't give it a try. I have to try it. And I've done it for 25 years now.
And very successfully at that, because you have garnered fans across everywhere, because they love you for the characters you play, and not because you have to constantly beat your drum to say, hey, I'm there, I'm there, I'm there, but people notice you.
Okay, I don't know about that. I think I'm fortunate that people shower love and stuff and say nice things. Whether that's success or not, I don't know. I think maybe I'm more successful as being the person I am as opposed to the actor. There's a difference there. So Yeah, but that's not the issue for me. I mean, I've accepted life. I'm very comfortable with who I am and what I am. But now I'm looking, now acting is kind of taking its toll. It's not as fulfilling. Just, um, because in the end, it started off being a way of, venting my feelings. But how long will you do that? Right? So after a while, you kind of, and then it's also about the work environment and things catch up. So I'm sort of in between now thinking, okay, how long is this journey going to go? I'm kind of seeing it fading away a little bit. But you
Or
never know.
create more meaning in it with creating something new, because introverts are creative and analytical both, so you can balance that thing, right? Like you
Yeah,
dream.
that's why like I said, oh, let's say, I mean, the intensity, the passion I had when I started, I don't feel that kind of intensity and passion because I've learned to detach myself. Because to me, the problem was I was too attached to my outcome of my work. Okay, because you want to do this really well because, like you said, you want to be successful, right? And I was very passionate, very intense. But over the years, I learned that that's not it. I mean, you got to do your karma, right? I mean, do the best you can do and let it take where it takes you. So, yeah. So I have learned to detach myself. Otherwise I used to get, oh God, I was a nightmare when I was starting out because I would cry in every set. No, this is not the way to do it. This should be because I was so passionate about everything that was happening. To me, every shot I gave was a moment to create magic. That's how I translated everything. I said, it's not creating magic. It's just there. What's the big deal? It has to be special. It has to be unique. And that's like, carrying that passion, that kind of intensity around you. It can be like, troubling for people around. And they'll be like, this guy's a weird guy, man. So, but I've learned to kind of back off and still do that. So I don't know. Well, that's the way it is.
So it was a great adjustment for you to literally be in a world and perform with quality, and be in a world where people are actually different from you. So it was really in a
See,
way.
I think the difference lies is being an actor, enjoying an actor, and the profession of acting are completely different.
Right.
That is what I didn't realize. I knew I liked acting. It made me feel good. I loved it. But professionally, no one in my family is an actor. No one, my friends were actor. I'd never come to Mumbai before. So to me, it's like, it takes time to you as a person to adjust to this profession. Because there are other things that, like if you join the corporate world, there are a lot of things that come with it.
Yes.
So you might excel in who you are, but to adjust to the corporate culture is a different ball game.
Right.
Likewise, being an actor. So that has gone against me as well, because I'm not able to, being an introvert also, able to adjust to the way things function. So that's okay. But, it's, I take solace in the fact that all the great actors are big introverts. And so I take solace in that. So that's okay. So I'm crazy like them. So that's good.
That's interesting. So certain things that you really enjoyed in your professional sphere, and certain things that you said, no, I could do without them. What were some of these things?
Oh, enjoy experiencing. I enjoy putting myself in somebody else's shoes and living that life. That's beautiful. I mean, that's once in a lifetime. You can live like a gazillion lives. There's so many things, especially if you're an introvert, you don't get to do and you can't do. I mean, you forget introvert, anyone for that matter. I mean, if you're angry at someone, you can't always say shut up and slap that person, right? In movies, you can do that. And you get to get that rage out. And you get that feeling like I'm playing a lot of negative stuff from nowadays. And I'm loving it because it's so menacing and there's a darker side of you which comes out. Yeah. So I love that, experiencing that, because through the character, I'm living that life.
Yeah. So were there characters where you played any negative roles?
I've tons. Right now, doing lots of negative stuff and I'm loving it. I'm so glad. Because
your character in The Mouthful of Sky was also a little around the fun?
Completely negative.
Yeah,
he was the main villain.
I was much younger.
I'm sure. I'm
neighbors were
sure.
like, they were crazy about you. So we were like, really? So there was a particular scene, and I still remember my neighbor. And let me tell you, I'm so sorry for this. I haven't watched a single episode of that, but I used to see her reaction because she was so glued onto you. And she said, the police were coming to catch him. He was still watching Tom and Jerry. I remember her expressions. There was a
That's
certain,
a scene.
and she said, how can someone be so cool in such an intense moment? Is that something which you can also be in your real self, like in an even
Can
in
I?
a moment where people can probably literally fall apart, you can still hold yourself together because of
Oh,
your
I can block things off. I flatter myself in that I have no expressions. I have trained myself. So it really gets to my wife. It's just, you don't react. Like, that's my training. So
oh,
yeah, I can.
but does
I,
that mean
that's
you're not feeling it? I don't think that's so. You are feeling it inside, right?
oh well. I think over a period of time, even that sensation goes away.
Slowly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you've learned to detach so much and so much and so much that that in the end it's all about mind, which says, okay, this needs to be done. This is here. This is there. This is there. Da 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 da. And become very detached from the situation. So there's no hoo ha, nothing. It'll be like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So
I know,
you can probably relate to that, right?
I know what you're
Like
saying.
someone say, oh, there was an accident. Oh my God, what happened? Who died? Who died? You're like, okay, so it was an accident. Okay, I understand. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not reacting the way you react. It's like, okay, fine. Let's figure
Rather,
out
you're
what we
not
need to do.
reacting in an animated way. I mean, this is one of the
Yeah.
challenges I faced when I came in when I got married. So my husband was a person who's an extreme extrovert person, and I was the opposite. Suppose something happens and people were like, "Oh my God," and I was like, okay. So he was like, "How come you're not excited?" I said, "No, I am. It's just that my expressions are different. So it
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
challenge actually.
we like keeping it close to ourselves. And also, for me personally, I've learned that in life. I mean, whenever I've got too excited, things don't work out.
Yeah.
Um, whenever things are really terrible, a good thing happens the next day.
Mm.
When you think this is it can't get worse than this, and blah 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 blah, and you're just about to give up on God, and suddenly next morning you'll get a phone call, say, hey, and you're so pissed off because next time when things are not working, you can't even feel sad because in the back of your mind,
You know,
if you feel something good is also on the way.
yes.
So you kind of can't help it. You're never too sad, and you're never too happy. You're just like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
How much are you gonna push me now? Let's see.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so this
I'm
is what life
echoing.
teaches.
Yes, I can echo your thoughts because exactly
I,
that's
I
what happens.
I remember writing this when I was, I think, about 14 years old. Um, I don't know what this fixation was. I had this fixation for moon being God, just for the heck of it. And I remember writing that I know, I'll paraphrase it, I don't remember, that's like a long time back. But I remember that, but the thought was that I know you pick me up and you throw me into deep sea waters. And I know that I can't swim. But I also know that just when I'm about to drown, you will pick me up. And I also know the moment you pick me up, and then the moment I'm relaxed, you will throw me back again. Because you want me to learn how to swim. And that's life. So you're like, okay, fine. It's the game God plays, or if he or she exists, or whatever that super thing is. In my life, I translate that and, into what's happening. People say that, there's nothing called God, and, possibilities are there. Some people say nothing is a coincidence. People say, you don't understand what's going on, but really there's something else going on. So this is
But
another sphere.
I hear you what you're saying when you said that the thing that you wrote when you were a teenager, because I remember when after the tragedies I went through, losing my mother, and then a lot of other things happened, and then I was talking to one of my childhood friends, and she said, why does this happen to us? So she went through a little bad phase. So I said, listen, you have to stop doubting. And she was like, why does God do this to us? And I said, one thing probably, I'm not religious, but I certainly have a lot of deep faith in the Almighty in certain ways. So I said, you have to stop doubting, because it's just not our faith in God, when we are going through a bad time, but it is His faith in us that we will get through. So
See,
it's
we
that
can
kind of it.
debate this sometime, some other time,
Sometimes
whether he exists or not, or whether, because
I think it's
uh,
an energy. Me, I feel it's an energy. It's if there's positivity, a good feeling, that is God. I mean, I don't have to give Him a form, but anything which is that
I
feels good,
I
feels positive, that's God.
yeah, yeah, my definition of God is, I mean, this is what my discussion thing is, that I choose to believe he exists. I have no reason to believe it. I don't
Yes.
know. I choose to believe that he does exist. And it makes my life easier. It makes dealing with the world a little easier, knowing that something is there. And it's a scary thought. If you think that, we always believe if you're good things happen to you. Karma is a big thing. And assuming that there is somebody watching. And then there's this thing that, what if nobody's watching? All along, you've been this good boy or a good girl and saying, oh, I should be good and a good human being and I'll be rewarded or whatever. And there's nobody watching, which is a scary thought, which will make you, trust me, for one day, just think that there is no God and see what it does that to you.
Oh, I don't know. I think it puts a lot of pressure on my head. I don't want to take an onus of so many things happening. So I rather rely on someone out there or whoever around.
I hear you.
So it's like that.
I
Something
totally agree
going
with
wrong.
that.
Okay, I don't need to worry. You will take care. Something's great. Thank you so much. You made it happen.
Yeah. Let us live peacefully in our cocoon. You guys, you take care of the rest of the thing. Dump it on him. You take care of it, right?
Yeah, but responsibly dump. It's not like just dump.
Yeah, but only to, you can take it to some people take it to an extreme level. Me, I like, okay, I've done my bit. Outcome will be what it will be. I don't stress. That's okay. So,
right.
So that's that.
Right.
All right.
So I won't drag you too long. I know it's getting really late for you. So just
I need to eat dinner.
Last side of
Sure.
So you've been through very beautiful, you've led us through a very beautiful journey of your experiences, like your aspirations from Wall Street days to acting, trying to find.
They weren't beautiful. Trust me, they weren't beautiful. They were very hard.
Yeah, but you really made it beautiful for your viewers. So we cannot, stop but give you credit for that. So that has been great. So what next steps of your aspirations, like where you want to lead, and what are the things in your mind and things you would be open to?
I'm open to just about anything. That I have this thing. I have like which probably is an introvert thing. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know. I mean, I have like a inbuilt compass, which kind of guides me. And something happens, and I'll be like, okay, I need to do this. I don't know why, what, I need to do it. You feel a strong connection, and there's a voice that's going through you saying, I need to do this. And I don't know when and how the next voice is going to come. So, but I'm a firm believer of that. So, like I said, I live day by day. I've learned because of all my experiences in life. I have no planning. I can't think beyond 24 hours. It's because life is so unpredictable. You can plan all you want and you look like a fool. I mean, entire 2020, we look like a fool. So I literally, like, for example, right now, all I'm thinking is, okay, how late is this? I need to have dinner. Okay. And that's that. And then tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll say, okay, this needs to be done. I need to do this. So it's just literally, I'm on 24 hours.
Living in the moment.
Well, at least living in the day. It's 24 hours per se. I can't. And someone says, will you meet me on next Thursday? I'm like, yeah, we'll see. So I'm like, I can't think, so yeah, so I kind of live like that.
Now
so
it makes sense that you wanted to keep this so spontaneous instead of very pre-planned.
Yeah, that's so stress. It's so tedious, nah? I mean, you want to be, okay, what if she says this? And why do I need to waste so much of energy on that? Right. The idea is just be in the moment and you say what you say and I say what I say. And hopefully something nice comes out of it.
Yeah, so, but a lot of celebrities, they actually want a set of questions to be sure that this is coming.
I feel bad for them. I genuinely feel bad because I think they're taking too much pressure on themselves. By giving themselves too much of attention and too much of importance, they're taking too much pressure also. Yeah. To me Even if I make a fool of myself, what is the worst case scenario? What's going to happen? I mean, you probably will think I'm a fool. Okay.
Trust
Fine.
me, no, you are making
No, no,
impressions,
no. It's
making
that's what I'm saying.
amazing
That
impressions on them.
you can't take. I've done that because I've been there before. I have taken pressures. I have thought of these things. It's not like I'm suddenly this Buddha who's come out. I've been there. I know what it means to take that pressure, especially because I've suffered from anxiety for years and years and years. To me, it was just, okay, like people are watching me and looking at me and this and that and this and that. What if this happens? And what if this? No, if I do this film, for longest time, I wouldn't do certain kind of roles or whatever because I said, oh, what will people say? And now I'm like, screw you. I'm sorry. I do what I want to do. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, good, man. Good for you. It doesn't affect me. I mean, so I've learned not to take myself that seriously. It's like, okay, I'll do my best and that's that.
So it's more sincerity than seriousness, but that's great.
Well, yeah, I don't take myself seriously as in think too much of myself, because we tend to think the whole world revolves around us. And supposing you got a bad haircut, you'll go out and say, oh God, what are they going to say? Or the clothes you're wearing. And I've been through all that stage, especially being in the field you're in, because you're constantly judged.
Yes.
Now I'm like, hey man, I'm going to wear the same shirt every time. I'll just wear a black t-shirt or a black shirt, same jeans. You want to judge me? Go ahead and do it.
But trust me, you are actually setting a lot of examples and learning situations for people to know that even if they are in a field which is like, in a film industry, but it is still, people are human and it is okay to be just okay than to flash about, So it's
I actually wrote that on Instagram. I said it's okay to be okay. I mean, or it's okay not to be okay also.
Yes.
So that works either way. Okay, I'm gonna cut this now.
Yes. So thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
We will connect again. Maybe not on this call, but we will connect again and be in touch. And I will share these details of the article and the video with you. So thank you so much for your time, sir.
Pleasure.
And wish you.
You can call me Samir. Don't call me sir. It's okay. Anyway,
I literally grew up, watching you across.
Okay, then you better call me sir. You better call me sir.
Yes. So
that's another thing. I put nothing above respect. That's the be all end all, I feel sometimes. Anyway, different story, different conversation.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Take care. All right. Bye. Bye.